Just give it a few minutes to set up and we'll get into what the hell is going on. Oh. Rightio. Let me put this. Close you down. Right. First of all, let me just double check everything is going smoothly. Yo, 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 yo. High myself up a little bit. So first things first. Today we've had a conference with NASA talking about unidentified anomalous phenomena, UFOs. Independent study. I would skip ahead to about 3:45 if you want to watch it. You can watch it on NASA Live official stream, NASA TV. They also have it on YouTube. I've watched bits of it. Not really anything going on, just talking rubbish. They do mention some 2% of what was it? 2% of 8,000 sightings are strange, need investigating. They're asking for people to not hesitate to send in information, I think, or commercial flight pilots to say, report something if you see it, blah blah blah. Basically all the same rubbish. But as you can see on here, I've got Project Bluebeam. A lot of people are saying that it's just Project Bluebeam. They're getting ready to release the New World Order, globalization, fear tactic to make everybody think that they're aliens and there's going to be some sort of alien invasion or the second coming of Christ, which is another one. Then over here we've got the Nazi moon base. The Nazi moon base. Probably empty because they're probably all sat here. So there's probably no Nazis in that base right now because they're all here. But the reason I say that is going to be so obvious in a minute when I play my little book. So first things I want to do, let's take that off. Now, this is the page you can go to. NASA's official website. I think I just clicked on NASA TV and then found it here Thursday. Blah 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 blah. Skip ahead to about 3:43, I think it was. No. Oh no, wait for that. Watched so much of it. I'd say about 5:43. Yeah, 5:43 is when this guy gets up and starts talking about what it's going to be about. Goes on for a while, I think. What else have we got? I also want to play this. This may seem completely off topic, but as you're going to see in a minute, it's a massive component to this whole system and how it all works. Now, when you go on, let me get that back up. Now, when we're talking about these moon bases and bases like New Berlin, which is set on Mars, who operates these places? Supposedly that with the Antarctica treaty, they agreed that they would deliver people to the Nazis, the aliens, the reptilians, who I don't know, whichever ones they are, that they would deliver people to them to work, and that these people could come back if they wanted to, but none of them ever did. God knows what happens. But we also know a lot about lots of people going missing. And when I say people going missing, people are probably thinking what, like UFOs, abductions. No. Like there are not enough people being abducted, not enough reports of people being abducted to even get to the amount the numbers that they would need to build these sort of facilities in places like the moon or Mars or even the bottom of the ocean or inside the earth, wherever these bases are. But where are they going to find such a huge supply of humans to work these places, to go there and work? And usually, if you're going to take an adult out of his environment and place him in somewhere like Mars or the moon, somewhere completely different, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to adapt to those environments. So where are you going to get those people from? That's what's going to bring us to this next part. Get rid of you now, don't need you. This is Chip Roy talking to Congress about
the gentle lady from Texas.
Well, you'll
talking
know.
about 1,000 that have not been put back to, reunified. I don't know if that data is accurate, but I'll take her at her word. How about the 85,000 that are missing right now in the New York Times? 85,000. Right? It's just a complete and absurd joke. It is absolutely ridiculous what we're hearing from our colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Your current system has 85,000 kids they can't find. What in the world? It's the New York Times. It's not Fox News. And we're sitting here talking about a fiction of saying there's an infant rolling through somewhere outside of Eagle Pass right now, begging to claim asylum. The infant is not doing that. This is absurd. You know it's absurd. We have language here put forward in good faith, trying to figure out how to stop what I see in this chart behind me, where unaccompanied children are spiking through the roof, have been doing so since Democrats have been in charge of the administration. The only blip is when you had a Republican in charge. You had kids on top of train cars getting abused by cartels. You got numbers spiking through the roof since President Biden has been in office. And all we want to simply do is say, we want to get them home to their families. We want to get them to a place where they can go to a port of entry so we can take care of them. And we're being traded by my colleagues on the other side of the aisle with where are the 1,000 that aren't being reunified? Well, go find the 85,000 that we don't even know where the hell they are under the Biden administration.
Now that is shocking. 85,000 children missing, gone, vanished. Now, you're not transporting 85,000 children. The cartel are nowhere near organized to human traffic 85,000 people, 85,000 children. It's a city. It's almost it's a small town. It's a city, a small city, should I say? Now there isn't that amount of. There probably is that amount of demand, especially with the people who are running the world, and we know the type of things they do with spirit cooking and all the horrible things that they're doing, that they're up to, but this 85,000, you can't. How can you transport 85,000 children over a course period? Maybe maybe if you're looking at it from, even then, you're talking 50 kids alone is a couple of buses, and you're talking buses upon buses upon buses of them just vanished. Now, where are they going? There's no way that these kids are being taken off into facilities, and there's no way that that the amount of staff that it would need to manage facilities to house those type of children. There's no way there isn't like one or two that aren't leaking that information, that don't see what's going on, and they're not trying to leak it. At least one or two of them are going to have some sort of clarity and think, no, can't be doing that. Can't. This is horrible. What's going on? None whatsoever. Just completely vanished. The only way things like this can happen is dark projects, and where are dark government projects going to get the money? The money to show you where they're going to get the money.
My friend from New York,
One sec. Lower my mic down.
Ocasio-Cortez said, quote, "I ask you, think about the last time a person has said in this country that the government does too much for them. When was the last time anyone has heard or seen that?" I'll say it. I'll say it right here. I don't want the government doing most of the things that the government is doing to interfere with the ability of the American people to carry out their lives. Federal, state, and local. When was the last time you had a bureaucrat show up and you said, "Oh joy, thank you. I'm really glad there's a bureaucrat here"? When was the last time you were thankful for $32 trillion in debt, $100,000 almost for every man, woman, and child in America? Anybody thankful for $32 trillion in debt? Anybody? Anybody thankful for a border that's wide open being exploited by cartels while fentanyl comes in and kills our children? Everybody thankful for that Department of Homeland Security that doesn't actually secure the homeland? Everybody thankful for an FBI that went after Scott Smith and labeled him a domestic terrorist for daring to defend his daughter in a school board meeting?
So as you can hear there again, he was talking about that $1 trillion debt. Everyone's talking about this $1 trillion debt, and we have to do this, we have to do that. Where's the money going to for the Pentagon that keeps going missing? Trillions and trillions and trillions of pounds, constant of dollars going missing every single time on black projects, dark projects, secret projects. That's where it's going. That's where the money's going. The money is going to human trafficking children. To traffic people to where? Where could these kids be getting trafficked to? You think they're just going to Joe Biden's basement? I mean, they're probably going to one of these celebrities' islands. Some of them. But 85,000, and that's just what we know of. That's just what the New York Times reported. Imagine the other numbers. Think about all the deep underground military bases, all these different things. Now, that's just the context that I want you to take in. So we've got NASA coming out talking about aliens and UFOs and these weird things. And actually, they weren't talking about aliens. They were technically saying that we don't think that the extraterrestrial crafts. But neither do I. I don't think that they're extraterrestrial. I think it's a breakaway government, breakaway Nazi Fourth Reich that travelled down to the Antarctica, based up on Mars, recuperated, infiltrated, and are now set upon making a world government way worse than what they had planned in the beginning. In the beginning, they wanted the Fourth Reich and they wanted this and that and the other. This is a completely different animal. What they're trying to create. So now that context is out the way, what I am going to do is I'm going to go back onto this. I'm going to close that down. So and then I'm going to take the audiobook off, and then I'm going to take the window off. So yeah. So we're going to play Star Citizen, and we're going to continue to talk about this subject. But whilst talking about it, I might need to lower my mic down a little touch. It's going to be difficult hiring it and lowering it because there's a bit of an echo coming from this. But what I will do, I'll lower this. I'll click on here, close that. Now I'm going to press play. I'm going to test it.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome.
See how loud that is.
I am Jason Rice. I am an SSP officer veteran as well as a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers veteran.
Bit of an echo still.
I am an engineer. The talk today is related to my own experiences with the SSP.
I'll lower my mic a little bit more.
Okay, so like what is the secret space program?
High this up a little bit.
Again, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, one of them.
I'm gonna pause it. Rewind it a few seconds.
The officer veteran.
Now this is Can't remember his name, but I have had to pull this audio from Robert Sepper's Rumble. Couldn't find it on his YouTube, but Robert Sepp is definitely a guru when it comes to these type of subjects. Probably the best out there that I can recommend to watch. I've watched everything he's done, but his books, but everything. But this is not him speaking, but this is someone talking about. He was part of one of these black project organizations, and I think he says that he was contracted to go and work on the moon and on these different mad places. But he goes along the exact same thing that we talk about: the Vril Society, secret space programs, Antarctica, UFOs, Nazi spaceships, moon bases, Mars bases. He says it all. But what's unique about this one is that he actually talks about the staff, in which how they recruit staff, how they get staff, how they do things they do, and sort of the agenda behind global banking, government organizations, and what roles they have to play in the entire picture. Because you might think, well, what do human trafficking on the American border have to do with NASA? A lot. A lot. What do Nazis and UFOs have to do with, the American debt ceiling that everyone's talking about right now? Everything. It's all connected. 1 second. TikToks. Right. So now Star Citizen, before we get into it, has been proper glitchy. If it does glitch, I'm probably going to come off it and probably go on something like Division 2. But when I was playing it earlier, I was having nightmares playing it, especially while I'm streaming right now on YouTube. It might even be worse. But ideally, I want this stream to run for about an hour. We're 17 minutes in, so we're going to get as far into this as we can. I'm trying to keep it below an hour so I can keep it at 720p on Rumble, because I'm trying to get me conspiracy stuff on Rumble. Might even get taken down on YouTube. This is a test. This is a test to YouTube. YouTube's pretty lenient when it comes to these things, so we'll put them to the test. Right, I'm going to go quiet for a bit, jump on Star Citizen, talk every now and again. Can't really pause the video. It's kind of in a different window. But have a listen to what this guy says. Think about what we've just talked about with human trafficking, the Nazis, the moon, NASA, Project Bluebeam, and what's the other one? American debt ceiling going higher. Madness. Can't even keep track of it all myself. Right.
Going on for eons.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. I am Jason Rice. I am an SSP officer veteran as well as a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers veteran. I am an engineer. The talk today is related to my own experiences with the SSP. Okay, so what is the secret space program? Again, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, one of them is the IDARF, the Interplanetary Defense and Reaction Forces. So where did that come from? Well, in order to get there, we're going to have to go back in time a little bit and talk about some of the history going back to the 1930s. We went from almost seemingly overnight from advanced anti-gravitic technologies and a wide range of other technologies, medical, science, physics. So let's get into the history, how we got there. 1930s Germany. The Germans, prior to World War II, were very interested in esoteric mysticism, as well as a wide range of alternative views on life and connections and energies. They scoured the entire planet looking for further clues and more information. The Germans decided, okay, well, they're saying that there's some technology down in Antarctica, so we should go down there. So in 1938, 39, they had an expedition down there. The SS Neuschwabenland was the ship, and they carved out a particular area. And I think you'll see that the area they carved out is it's in the Queen Maud Land area on the map there. And on the right-hand side, you'll see those orange pieces are actually mountains. So the entire boundary from a defensive, from a military standpoint, is essentially an offset. Gives them some property and protection and some defense in depth from the mountains where they ended up putting Base 211, the first one. And so 1940s, let's go through a little bit. They started building out and stocking their base in Antarctica so that they would be able to contain, feed, house up to upwards of 300,000 people. There were thousands involved with it. Most of them were native Germans, so that they could keep the information compartmentalized. Again, there's that word. They were able to use the geothermal properties underneath the mountains for their power source initially. Later on, they developed alternative advanced technologies, so they wouldn't have to rely solely on geothermal. But it was there. And they already had some advanced civilization that had been abandoned that they were told to go investigate. So around 1940, the Germans make their first visit to the moon in the Hannibal 1. And the same time period back on Earth was the period when the German Navy had commissioned some auxiliary cruisers, which basically are converted civilian ships. One of them was named Penguin, and the other one, surprisingly enough, was named Atlantis. Again, another interesting convenience. So during that time in the war, the Cabal was in charge and had resources in which they had loaned Germany money. Germany was paying back the loans. They had financed them through their rebuilding efforts in the 30s, as well as financing their military expeditions of the early 40s. What happened is that Germany decided that, hey, you know, we really don't need this central bank. We're going to instead start bartering with other countries so that we don't have to use a fiat centralized currency. Well, this of course upset the central banks, and the central bankers decided to get other people involved, and voila, the world is at war. 1941, the U.S. declares war on Germany. Now, this same time frame was when they were working on building up their base, and so the U-boat activity after 1941, they were able to, well, their two auxiliary cruisers had been sunk by that time, but they had enough U-boats in which they didn't need any surface ships. So they were using the subsurface ships for transportation to and from their base. They had advanced technologies on their U-boats so that they didn't have to surface. They were also some of the first stealth technology that had ever been released. 1944, Germans returned to the moon, and they're scouting for a base at this point. They also visit Mars for scouting purposes as well. 1945 through 48, the Germans start infiltrating the Allies, and their purpose was to get people in place. And they started off with, getting people in the military, getting people enlisted, getting people involved in politics, so that they could get them deeply embedded into the Allies' governments. The public portions that have been advertised are Operation Paperclip. Now, there's a lot of things that happened in 1947. February, well, starting in November of 46, the U.S. government had sent a flotilla of naval ships down to Antarctica to test Antarctic operations. Now, given the amount of time between the end of World War II and the fact that they had close to 5,000 people down there, I don't buy that. The information that I'd gotten while I was in the SSP also didn't support that. So February, Operation High Jump ends, and they sail back to the United States, returning to Washington in April. President Truman issues his executive order in March, in which the loyalty of all federal employees would be evaluated by the FBI. When that started, for all federal employees having to go through background checks to test their evaluation for their loyalties. Now, at the time, the McCarthyism was running really hot, so they blamed it on the communists. But what was actually happening is that the Antarctic German infiltrators, that's what they were really after. Later that year, guess what happened in July? There's one that everybody should know. The Roswell event, that's right. Now, do you find it highly suspect that the same month that the Roswell event happened is also when the National Security Council and the CIA were created? Same month. Now, the CIA took over from the Operation of State Security, OSS, which was handled by the military. After the president enacted the CIA, it was now handled by civilians, which meant that the military was out. And they washed their hands of it. That's right. They were able to get the civilians in there so that the civilians could then control. September, or later that year, Majestic 12 was created, again, for dealing with alien politics or alien recovered craft or technologies. Now, when Admiral Byrd left Antarctica, he took a message with him. Now, there are alleged reports that he made a statement to a newspaper about the threat and about an enemy capable of incredible feats. Well, the other message that he took with him was from the Antarctic Germans, in which they were requiring a meeting so that they could negotiate a truce, a ceasefire. Well, the Antarctic Germans needed to have some time so that they could build up their defenses. That's what they wanted to do. They had a fleet of anti-gravitic craft, but it wasn't enough to take on an entire globe of people or allies that would have been aligned against them. So they wanted some time to build up their forces. And they also knew that the allies had nothing that could compare to their technologies. December, Operation Windmill was published as we're going to make our base down in Antarctica, which in actuality what it was is part of the negotiations between the Antarctic Germans and the rest of the planet. Guess what happened in the next year? Operation Mockingbird had its starts. So these all go back to a very busy 1947, 1948. Now, Frank Wisner was a member of the CIA and was put in charge of propaganda and the controlling of the media. After what happened with Roswell, they did not want to go through another incident like that. So they decided that they would take it on head first. Well, how do you do that? Well, you pay a bunch of people that are employees of mainstream media to do what and when and how and whatever you need them to say. Operation Mockingbird. Now, in 1972, it came out. My gosh, that's 25 years later. Well, do you really think that it stopped just because it went public? No, it did not. So in February, Operation Windmill 2 was finished up, in which the Antarctic Germans reached a ceasefire with the Cabal. Now, they had expected a formal treaty to follow. And so what they wanted was, again, to buy some more time. So that was what happened in 1948. The ceasefire agreement established the Antarctic Germans as a sovereign nation. Their existence was to be kept secret. The reasons for that have to do with the Antarctic Germans were threatening to go public with advanced technologies, and the cabal did not want that to happen because they wanted to maintain control. The other thing that the cabal had going for it at the time was that if the Antarctic Germans had gone public, there is a very, very strong possibility that the rest of the globe, the personnel, the citizens would have said, you know what, even if it means nuclear annihilation for us all, let's get rid of those Nazis once and for all. So they kept it secret because the politicians knew that they may not have a choice if it went public. They would be out of their control from the citizens of the planet. They established their embassies. They have at least one senior executive and thousands of corporations. Now, what kind of corporations? Now, we're talking about Ivy League schools. We're talking about engineering research schools. We're talking about defense contractors, agriculture, medical, research hospitals, banks, everything imaginable. They had at least one senior executive, because again, they had 300,000 people to do something with. And their plan was to infiltrate the rest of the planet so that they would have their own people in place. One of the consolations
Remember what
that
he
they
said
provided
there,
to the cabal was that they
300,000
gave
people.
them base theories, not technology, but base theories. So they had to do their own homework. Now, having their own people in place meant that essentially they were giving themselves advanced theories. So no harm, no foul, because they're just giving it to themselves, right? Well, their own people being executives in these companies, the process of advancement, well, you know, you've got somebody who has a leg up already because they've got advanced technology knowledge. And suddenly they are on a fast track to the CEO or senior executive or any number of other positions. Now, 1948 through 1954, the cabal was stalling for time because they knew that they could not stand toe-to-toe with the Antarctic Germans. The technology level of the Antarctic Germans was far beyond anything that they could handle. I mean, they tried with a naval task force, and the naval task force was sent packing. So, 1949, the USSR fires their first nuclear bomb. Now, there's evidence that shows that the U.S. gave the Soviet Union the plans. Now, my thinking is that they were trying to spread out more information so that they could keep the Antarctic Germans in check and get more people that are standing up against you. Then you have a better chance of coming out ahead. The Chinese communists take control that year. 1950, the Korean War starts. Hey, we can't go to a treaty because we're fighting a war. Please give us a break. 1950 to 1954, McCarthy's Red Scare. Again, the U.S. government was searching for the moles and the spies from the Antarctic Germans. Now, one of the things that they provided as a good faith, at least that's what they called, the cabal provided the London Debt Agreement, in which all of Germany's, now conventional Germany, not Antarctic Germany, the Antarctic Germans still had a connection and a love for their homeland. So the cabal took advantage of that and said, okay, look, give us some more time and we will forgive all the war debt before and after World War II. So this goes back to World War I. Now, we think that the United States debt of 22 trillion is high. How about 1,000 trillion that they forgave in equivalent modern dollars? $1,000 trillion, free and clear. That's what they gave to Germany. Now, during this time, the Antarctic Germans were working on their moon base. Again, they had lost about 1,000 people. They had also started working on their Mars base, New Berlin. And the problem with New Berlin is that, well, their goals for New Berlin was that they had to invade the space and take it over from another alien race. Now, they lost about 17,000 soldiers during that campaign. Now, it may not sound like a lot. One is too many, but if you add up all the Allies' losses during World War II, this is what that accounts for from a perspective of their total population. Now, it also meant that it was some of the most physically fit, some of the most active. These were the people that they lost. And so they knew that they needed to fix their personnel problem. And one way to do that was to acquire more people for some of the jobs and positions that their people couldn't fill or didn't want to fill. So they stepped up their pressure on the cabal. UFO sightings blossomed, exploded during that time frame. There were military pilots that gave testimony about a UFO craft that would shadow them, that the pilot would give them the finger and then fly off, and that the pilot looked humanoid. There were mass sightings over D.C. There were mass sightings over New York City. I believe that was an Andromeda class, the one over New York City. And we'll see that in just a second. That was in 1950. Now, the final straw that the Antarctic Germans used to bring the cabal to the table was they did a nuclear demonstration strike on a heavy cruiser, coincidentally, on its way back from Bikini Atoll during the U.S.'s nuclear testing. The Antarctic Germans exploded a nuclear weapon close enough to affect the heavy cruiser from the EMP. Now, it wasn't close enough that it burned it up. It didn't do that. They just wanted to disable it. They wanted to get the United States' attention. Now, of course they did, as it took them 12 hours to get the ship moving again, and then they limped back to Hawaii. But the Antarctic Germans took it a step further because they knew that the U.S. government would probably say, hey, there's a chance that, those Navy personnel were too close to Bikini Atoll, and that was the explosion that knocked out the power and all the electronics and electrical systems on the heavy cruiser. The Antarctic Germans weren't taking any risk. So they had filmed the entire operation and sent boxes of these films to pretty much every leader in the world, so that there was no question that, number one, they had nukes. They were willing to use them, and their requests was they wanted to meet to come up with a formalized treaty. Well, that pretty much did it. So, as we mentioned a minute ago, the AG finished up their Mars military campaigns in 1954. That was also the same year that they developed their memory wipe technology. So 55 through 59 was when the Antarctic Treaty negotiations began. Now, Antarctica, I imagine that everybody here has read or heard some things about Antarctica. It's about the size of the United States. It has every natural resource, from oil and coal to uranium to gold and silver. Now, has there been another spot on the planet that corporations wouldn't go into to drill for oil? Think about the depths that they would go to in the ocean, or the fracking, or the lengths that they will go to. Well, why didn't they do it in Antarctica? It's got all these resources. Well, it's because of the Antarctic Treaty. There were two components to the Antarctic Treaty. There was a public version, and then there was a classified version. Operation Deep Freeze 1 and 2 was the operation in which the cabal had built and established their base in Antarctica, and it also allowed for them to go through the negotiations with the Antarctic Germans. This time was also when the Antarctic Germans continued their political espionage, because they wanted to infiltrate every country, not just one, but every country, every major corporation, every major organization on the planet. That was how they were going to run their things, and that's how they were able to gain control over technology. So 1959 was the year that the Antarctic Treaty was enacted. Now, what did the Antarctic Treaty, the classified portion, what did it do? Well, it granted the Antarctic Germans about 150,000 personnel from the rest of the world. Now, what does that mean? They were going to pick them up from a place and time of their choosing. They had assured the rest of the leaders of the world that they would pay them and take care of them and feed and house them and give them fair medical treatment and anything that they needed. Give them the opportunity to become German citizens if they so chose at the end of 5 years. If they didn't, oh, well, okay, they would send them back home. That didn't happen. Surprise. Also, as part of the Antarctic Treaty, is that they had at least one Antarctic German on the governing board of directors. So not only do they have senior executives, at least one. The larger corporations had 5 to 10, but they've got now their own people on the board of directors. The thousands of worldwide corporations, universities, medical research facilities, banks, financial institutions, you name it. The other portion of their plan was to have at least one executive, one of their citizens on the executive branch of every government on the planet, at least one. The United States had multiple civilians from the Antarctic Germans within the government. Now, again, their society was to remain classified. They didn't want it coming out. They didn't want the world ganging up on them, and the cabal would lose their power and control if that happened. So it was a win-win for both of them. The AG stopped and ceased their overflights and their shadowing of both civilian and military aircraft. Through the 60s, the cabal and the Antarctic Germans continued their cat and mouse game. The United States effort to put a man on the moon was an opportunity for siphoning off millions of dollars to invest it into black projects. They used the Antarctic Germans, their embedded citizens, to great effect, because if they had a technology that turned out, well, this has a lot of promise, and this may be something that would actually work in a military or civilian field. Well, they used their citizens, both in the government and in the corporations, to either close the project down publicly and take it black, or to transfer it completely. So that's why you end up seeing, looking through the records in a Google search, a lot of technologies that just poof, disappeared during the 60s. Well, this is why. The AG and the cabal both continue to work on their mind control programs, and this includes technology as well as pharmaceuticals during the 60s. Now, keep in mind that the World War II Germans, the Third Reich, had pioneered a lot of things, and included among them were mind control. And so the scientists and engineers and doctors and technicians that were part of the Antarctic German society, they had and continued their mind control programs. Well, the cabal wasn't going to be turned out, so they started their own, which we can see and hear about now, some of the disclosure that's coming about relating to the use of LSD on prisoners, and they're trying attempts to do mind control. Well, that's just scraping the very surface of it. When disclosure happens again, we'll find out the full depth of how deep this particular rabbit hole goes. Now, the 1960s is also when the AG built their new base, New Wurzburg. That was their second city. They also were building out their first carrier task group. The AG also expanded further into the solar system. including Ceres, so the moons around Saturn, the Kuiper Belt, the Oort Cloud. There's so many resources out there all it takes is setting up a base and operations, and then you can go and find your own small planetoid that has whatever you need. So that's what they were doing. During this time frame was when the 5-year loaner program had ended. Now, they were supposed to return these people, right? They weren't kidnapped per se, but what happened is that they would return them and then re-abduct them, or they would write false death reports. So they ended up keeping about 90% of the people that they had acquired from that deal. This was also the time frame in which the Cabal had learned more about some of the threats to Earth from certain alien sectors. Any advanced dimensional, scalar, time, advanced physics, those were the projects that were buried. So let's get into the 70s. The Cabal are continuing to buy as much time as they can because still they know that, number one, they're infiltrated, and there's not much they can do about it. They tried to do something with the McCarthy era, but that didn't really work out so well. Incidentally, Senator McCarthy died 3 years after stopping the Red Scare at Bethesda Medical Center, same place that the former Secretary of Defense died. The 1970s are when the Cabal learned that the Antarctic Germans had memory wipe technology. Before then, they hadn't known about it. So the mind wipe technology was really on par with the Manhattan Project because it allowed a government to operate in 100% certainty that the information that was going out with their personnel was locked down. So they were able to keep people from remembering things, so they had nothing to tell. You got nothing to tell, you're not a security risk. And the Cabal really wanted that technology. So it took them a few years, but eventually, in 1979, they had a joint KGB-CIA operation in which they had gotten one of the security forces from the Antarctic Germans to turn. And they acquired the technology and made it look like an accident that happened at altitude over the Pacific with nothing left in an expanding ball of white plasma. Now, they took that and reverse engineered it. It took them a few years to get that done. They reached their targeted self-sustaining worker population for their outlying colonies, their outlying manufacturing facilities. The locations are out in the rest of the solar system. The Antarctic Germans started working on their own time travel. What they found was that there were problems, temporal interference, if they messed around or tried to monkey with timelines in the past. What they found, strangely enough, was that when they would go back and try and change something by altering whether someone crossed the street here or there, they didn't get hit by a car. Well, what they found was that within a reasonable amount of time, the person would die anyway. Something else would happen. Or the outcome that they were trying to avoid would happen anyway. And so now they're dealing with multiple problems in the past, and so they stopped, thankfully. But I found it interesting that that was one of the things that they discovered through trying to manipulate with time, was that the things that they were trying to prevent or ended up happening anyway. So 1980s. 1982 was when the Cabal finished their reverse engineering of the mind wipe technology. The time frame that they had built their technology for memory wipe was also the same time frame that Voyager 1 and 2 were passing the Jupiter-Saturn area. And one of the things that Voyager 1 did for the Cabal was it informed them just how much build out the Antarctic Germans had, just how much infiltration alien races were making into our solar system. It scared them. They didn't realize just how much the Antarctic Germans had built out. And so they altered their plans for world domination to speed up the timeline. Originally, they were thinking that they would do it over a period of a century or more. Well, they shortened the timeline to make it happen faster. Now, the reasons how they did that was by you create a disease and you create the cure at the same time. You poison the food. You dumb down the education system. You keep promoting a fiat currency system. You conduct false flags so that the people ask for more security, so that the people are wanting to have a security state. So eventually, that's what they were wanting to do, is to get under a single despotic one world government. Well, that was around the same time frame that the Antarctic Germans, around 1986, discovered that their memory wipe technology had been stolen. And they did a few things in response to that. The destruction of the Space Shuttle Challenger was one. And then 2 months later, the destruction of the cooling towers at Chernobyl was the second one. They also moved all of their manufacturing and R&D off planet, and they sent a plain brown paper package with a non-operational memory wipe technology to the President of the United States and to the President of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev. Both of them got a non-operational memory wipe device with the time, date, and stamp from 1979 on the box. They would have done more, but the Antarctic Germans were worried about the cowboy U.S. President Reagan doing and resulting to nukes. So they left it at that. Plausible deniability. The 1990s, the moving of the Antarctic Germans of the majority of their civilization and their R&D and their manufacturing off planet now changes them over to the Mars Germans. So just that's my term. The people that I met while deployed just referred to themselves as Germans. So, but this is just my terminology for keeping track of it. So in 1990, the Mars Germans acquired a new property on the moon so that they did not have to be as close to the Draco. Well, their lease originally included a clause that if they were to get out of it, they had to find a new tenant. Where do you think they found a new tenant at? The Cabal, right? And so they didn't have to go far. It was right there. Well, what did the Cabal have to pay for this moon lease? Well, they ended up paying for the moon lease with 25,000 ground troops so that the Mars Germans could use them for border control. Well, what that turned out to mean was the conquering of planets. So, in order for the Cabal to get their moon base, they provided 25,000 troops. Now, where did they come from? Well, they came from every country on the planet that has a central bank. So, 1991 was when the Cabal and the Mars Germans signed the Cooperative Action Treaty for the Cabal takeover of the moon base, as well as the creation of IDAR, Intergalactic Defense and Reaction Forces, the fleet, the SSP program that I was involved in.
Okay, that's the video over. But hopefully 1 second. I'm just gonna, before I go to this station, I'm just gonna pop some tunes on. We're gonna talk about what we've just listened to. Okay, click you. Give me 2 seconds. Just gonna wait and see how loud this music is. Sure it's not too loud. Click to the next song. Some tunes, don't we? Ba 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 ba. Yo yo yo. Okay, let this kick off. Then I can lower and higher it. And then, okay, pretty low. Okay, that's good. Close you down. Put you back on. And that. Close you. Okay. And I can just travel. So yeah. Take in what he said. Sorry. Take in what he said about the people, how many people will get in traffic. So he's slowing that down on my side and your side. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? I get this feeling we're all alone in one big world, just to realize that all these shapes and colors are, so it doesn't hurt so badly. What is it? No. I mean, and you also mentioned the Draco as well. I think you were talking about the reptilians. Wonder if they're like on different planets. And I still don't understand what the people inside the Earth have to do with it. Hollow Earth people, the King, whoever. But they definitely set up bases by Antarctica, which is supposed to be one of the entrances to Hollow Earth. So that's something for some other time. When we take into account things that are going on now, and you think, well, how deep and how dark are these secret programs that they're messing about with? How far does it go? And when you watch a lot of these politicians, especially these woke ones and woke corporations and all the things that they're doing, the they don't sound like they believe what they're saying. In fact, the reason we don't trust them and we don't believe them, like people like AOC and Young Turks and all these other people, is that they look like deers in headlights. They look like there's a gun to their head, and they look so frightened when they speak. You know, and that would make sense if they were dealing with an advanced civilization that could just vaporize them at any moment. Not just that. Think about how much they've probably been compromised. You know, I mean, what? 3, 4, 5 of these kids for 85,000 kids. That's all they need. 3, 4, 5 of these kids just go around and compromise these politicians. Filthy, filthy pedophiles. You know, Jeffrey Epstein to me is a smokescreen compared to what's really going on. I think he's a window. Definitely, maybe a window more than a smokescreen. But it's not the windows that we're looking for, it's doors. It's the doorway into this cabal that's running everything. Oh, 1 second, the buttons are all a bit funny. I'm trying to land this shit. There we go. I just gotta feel up here. And it's shocking. It's shocking how much the people just don't care. They don't care. I mean, those 85,000 children are still missing. They've not been found. You know, Jeffrey Epstein's book is still out there. And we know the FBI has it. We know the CIA know. We know who knows. We know ourselves. And that's the sad part. Because it's to us conspiracy theorists, red pilled, however you want to describe us. We're just as complicit, because we might be trying to find the truth, but for what end? For what end are we trying to find the truth of these things? It's interesting, it's fun, because we have a lot of time on our hands to sit around here and sit on video games and learn about this stuff. It's definitely better than just being oblivious to it. But to what end? These kids are still lost. This is why I think there's a film coming out called, it was on Steve Bannon. What was that film? The Sound of Freedom, I think it's called. Sound of Freedom, or the Scream of Freedom, or something like that. And it's based on a true story about this guy who's apparently he's out there now and he's pulling out kids from, as this actor says, the deepest, darkest places of hell. Deep underground military bases, deep underground military bases. This is a global conspiracy being enacted, that's being formed by all the leaders of the world. They know exactly what's going on. And I don't know if Putin's in some sort of communication with different kind of people. Definitely know that the American elite, the British elite, 100% the British elite, they're probably not even compromised. These people are the real deal. They are the real Nazis. They're not compromised. And now you've got NASA coming out Talking about UFOs. I've got NASA coming out talking about UFOs. Everyone's saying Project Blue Beam, Project Blue Beam. Maybe COVID-19 didn't work, did it? Well, it did to some extent, but they couldn't do it again. They know they couldn't do it again, and they're about to try, and it's gonna go off. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen twice. Too many people know. Too many people think. And I don't know if the internet's part of the agenda, but the internet's definitely a strange one. Maybe the internet was something that they wanted to use to control, but it just absolutely backfired on them because I don't know. Alright, let's have a look on this planet. Let's have a look what we're looking for here. I'm looking for cave systems. Oh no, sorry, I'm on Crusade. I'm going to Daymar. I'm going to the desert planet. Daymar. Like this planet. Been reading Dune about 3/4 of the way through the Dune book. I'm past the first film. I know roughly what happens next-ish. Ah, there you go. I like it. Just hope I haven't been playing over an hour on this. It takes ages to do anything. Let's have a look. Let's see where we've got. We want to be going to the sunny part of the planet. We want to be going to Kudra Ore. I am looking for things to mine, so let's try that out. Let's not use Google. Search for it all. Check using Google and YouTube to play this game. As you can pick a game up and just play it as it is, for what it is. It's not a good game. You have to keep going on YouTube and doing all these things. It's not worth it. Still on the dark side of the planet, aren't we? Glad you will fly over. Whoa. Right, put this on because you can never see whereabouts it is. Not far. Definitely coming down in altitude. There isn't a lot of altitude on this planet, so you can pretty much lift off, take off pretty fast. But it means that you can definitely hit the ground a lot faster than you need to be. Slow down a little bit. Or I should say you can be closer to the ground than you think you are. Okay. Slow you down. And give it a little fly over, see if anyone tries to shoot me. There's a ship in the sky. Anyone shooting me? Anyone gonna try and shoot me? Nah. It's like a mining place. Okay, let's have a little Google. Have a little look. So what sort of facilities are there? That's definitely a trading node, I think, on that. Quite a few ships, a lot of ships that have crash landed here. Got no ships. Is that the ship that thing did? No. So let me do this thing, see if there's any mining gear. Oh yeah, something like that. Okay. Okay, there's some lights here then. Oh, is that saying it's inside the planet? No. Oh, okay. Alright, okay, so not moving anywhere. Here we go. Turn this light off. And somewhere here, let's see what that was, because I don't even know if that was a... Actually, I'll take off. I'll do this again. Aspect not. Don't know what that means. Why is it so bright? Okay, let's have a little look. Oh, the ship's going glitchy. Now we're good, we're good. There's definitely a PvP zone. There's nothing saying that. Looks like the sun will be coming up any minute. Let's have a look. Where is this thing? Where are you? I see right above it. There's absolutely nothing here. Wish you could scan without being in that vehicle. I don't get it. Unless it's like under the ground. See what if this out, see if it scans anything. No. No. No idea what this thing is. Should be a player he's fell under the ground or something. Okay, I'm just gonna leave the back open and a little cruise around. Stuff, yeah, someone's fell through the planet or something, haven't you? Okay. So let's do the scan. Loads of stuff. I'm gonna go to 201. Nice and slow, nice and easy. Let's see if it's a big one. I think when the big ones you can't mine them, but if the little ones I can. Just saying. So it's saying that's a player. I'm loot them because it's a player. I don't want to loot anyone, I just want some mining. But ah well, we'll get out and we'll have a little gander. Let's have some decent stuff on them. Oh dear, I'll just stay still. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm blowing up my own shit. Don't look like there's going to be anything on them. Nope. Local? Nope, not in here. I think I can take them things though with the tractor beam. Let me have a go with this tractor beam thing. Okay. Yeah. They've stole their gun. Okay. Can I stash it on that? Nah. That'd be sick if I could stick it on the wall. What? Why is it? Oh, there you go. Not in there. It's destroyed in it, but I'll take you. Okay, I think I can take the rockets as well. That's a lot of ships around here. Maybe I could just do this. Steal everybody's guns. Okie dokie. Let's go do some mining. What I'm meant to be doing. Okay, let's do the tab. Definitely. Okay, so much. Why is it all behind me? Oh yeah, it's not all below me. Like this, whoa, like there's hundreds and hundreds of shit. Play they're all shit. They all fell through the planet. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Get the landing gear away. Oh, that's a cave. It's a cave. Okay, alright, we're at a cave. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is one of the sickest things I've ever done. I didn't even first time I've ever done anything like this. This is boss. Okay. So there's a giant cave down here. What about in here? Is there anything interesting in here? No. Okay. Don't get too close to the wall. What the hell? Is that, what's that? Oh, I know what that is. One of those bites. Someone took a bite down here and fell. Okay. Alright, put that on. Put that on. Bloody hell. That's not the wrong buttons. Okay. Can't land my ship here. Nice and easy. Okay, what I'll do. Use tab. Yeah, I knew it was. Someone fight. Okay, what's this thing? What the? Can I pick you up? Can I pluck you? No. Can I mine you? Mass limit exceeded. Sure, okay. Let's try and get on you. Calm down. Calm down. Need taming. Let's tame you. Here we go, here we go. Got you. Got you, got you, got you, got you. Got you right, you need to calm down. Calm down, calm down. Ooh. Fuel low. Quantum drive low, okay. No, we need quantum drive, I need to bite. High it up a little bit so it's not hitting the ground. Have a little look around on this thing. Nope, 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 nope. I know it can't fit on me ship. Try to. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Stay still. It's just bouncing. Bring it down like this. Drive it up here like this. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Front of it's damaged. Right, let's see what it does now I've got off it. Okay, stay still. Okay. Just all over the place, innit? Jesus Christ, mate. Right, it's found you anyway. Nope, need to put my mining thing on. Yep. Come on, out on it. Oh, you go. Oh.
Or it's far to explore. If it starts, let's show.
Yeah, so it's scanning it.
Your heart will implode.
Okay, why isn't it going up? Not working. Unless this is a rock. This is for a rock. Can't be though. No chance. Surely I can mine that. Not even that big. Stop leaning. Have a little look around, just getting back on the fight. There you go, you might be mineable.
There's images of love and war, and everything's here to explore. It's all like our usual, a different place, but beautiful.
What's wrong with it? Oh wait, mine. There we go, now it's scanning it. Yeah. Why won't it let me mine it? Like the scroll wheel isn't working. Okay. You know that's perfect size. This is the perfect size. I don't know what way. Glitchy game.
So terribly sorry. We are so terribly sorry. The moon you felt, it has no sign. That's not like hell. The secret why just
Again, Googling again. Star Citizen and mining.
See the crowds, they're giving way. For some, they're better off that day. The bombs go off the shells, they're glowing red at first. The last there is to feel each night upon the earth. We are all that we are, so terribly sorry. We are so terribly sorry. The moon you felt, it has no sign. That's dark like hell. Or see from light, just blew apart. But when come stars, with dust tides to pull our hearts. The moon you felt, it has no sign.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip it.
That's dark like hell, or safe from light, just blown apart by winter stars with white dust tides to pull on ours. The moon you felt, it has no sign. That's dark like hell, or safe from light, just blown apart by wind from stars with white dust tides to pull on ours.
No, it's broke, it's glitched. Won't let me put it up. Every activity in this game is just broke. Can't do anything. Ah, there we go. Oh well. Fun while it lasted 5 minutes. Found a nice big cave. Found loads of hadonite. Found loads of things to mine. Can't do any of them. Look like a big boy. Just pointless. Pointless trying to do anything in this game. It's just basically like an exploration sim. Wander around, do nothing. Saying that. Let's even just go back to that location, log out. Say what I'm gonna do. Ready for this, people? Zoom! Boom! Woo! Oh, better not go too far though. Get back to that base high. That was sick. That was pretty decent. And after that, what a view. Where was that facility? Because that facility wasn't too far, was it? So, go there, have a little look around. Where are you? Where are you? A little bit closer. It definitely did not fly far. Didn't fly far to find it, did I? Where is it? Oh my god. I'm gonna end up thinking. It is. You can laugh. Come on. We're having a good flying day today. Maybe I can sell them there. Let me in. See if there's a trading thing here. I think you can sell them here though, to be honest. Nah, there ain't gonna be nothing in here. Delivery thing. Huh. Oh yeah, they are. Commodities though. But let's see what we've got. All full. They're all full because I've got me them guns there. Interesting. I'll sell all this stuff here though, hadn't I? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at selling. If I could mine it. But I can pick this up. Yeah, pick that up here. Okay. Got a lot of that. Don't have a lot of that, but I could always trade. Some trading. Hmm. 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 That'll make a difference. I'm even going to go try again. This is what we're after. Red box is what you're after. Alright, yeah. Fucking hell and stuff like that. Come on now. 3 helmets. Last room. We're gonna call it a day. Can you get in these beds? No, you can't. Scruffy little station this though. Nothing was in yours, yeah. Here's my shit there, bad boy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna log out here. See what happens when I log out at these stations. Hmm. Yeah, call it a day in here. See what happens. Maybe I'll lose all my gear. I don't know. Absolutely done nothing as usual. Spent money. An hour and 40. But I should have logged out first. Should have logged off earlier. Before I go, I think it's a bit strange that there's no music playing on my desktop here. Nah, there's music playing. Let me change that filter again. And then the music stop. Okay, now it's doing it. Maybe it was cutting out certain songs. Strange. Right, guys, remember, they're all lying to you. Everything's a big, fat, dirty lie. Don't believe anything they say. Nazis on the dark side of the moon. All the children that are going missing over the border are being turned into Nazi super soldiers. Either way, we need to know where they are. Right, have a